We have a story that you are going to love. When a 3-month-old kangaroo was rejected by his mother at a Louisiana wildlife center, the center's manager jumped right in, pun intended, I guess. For 3 months, Christina Cooper has been carrying around the little roo in a makeshift pouch over her shoulder. Joining us for an exclusive interview is Christina and the now 6-month-old kangaroo, Skippy. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
So I guess the pouch has evolved a little bit. Now it's
yes, we've had several different stages of pouches. When I first got Skippy, he did not have any fur at all, as you could see from the video. And we didn't have an incubator set up. This was all, his mother expelled him from the pouch, and we're not really sure why. We watched for a little while to see if she would go back to him. We didn't have any of the females go back to claim him. And at Global Wildlife Center, we have lots of room for the animals to roam around. So there was really no way to tell which one was his mother. Well,
how big was he at that time?
His head was about the size of a man's thumb. So he was teeny-tiny. He weighed 500 grams. Only 500
Which
grams.
Is a pound.
And, yeah, about a pound.
Wow.
And he was unable to thermoregulate. So it was very important as soon as we found him to get him as warm as possible. So what I did was I cut off one of the arms of one of my sweatshirts, put him inside of it, kept him close to my body because body heat is the best way to keep them warm.
So you've been basically kind of making it up as you go.
I have been, but you know what? I've had a wonderful resource. I got on the internet. The internet's a wonderful thing. And there's a lady named Linda Staker, and she has written a book called The Complete Care of Macropods.
Of course there's a book.
I pulled out my credit card, got the book right away, but while I was waiting for it to be shipped from Australia, I emailed her back and forth, and like any new mother, I get very nervous, and she's always there for me.
Look at the look on this little animal's face, though.
He's like blissfully
This is
content.
One
He
very,
just chills
very
out.
chilled animal.
What do you feed him?
There's a very special milk that comes from Australia. It's called Wambaroo. It's specially formulated for kangaroos.
You can buy it in stores.
It's actually kind of hard
a combination
to
of
find.
womb and kangaroo.
Yeah, and there are so many different things. The pouch actually came from Australia. I was telling you about
That's
Linda.
where he sleeps.
Ah, okay.
That's where he sleeps at night. He's with me all the time. This goes in my bedroom. It's
An observation, if we may, you seem incredibly attached. Are you going to be able to cut the cord when the time comes?
It's going to be difficult. I still have about 6 or 7 months to work out my issues, and hopefully, hopefully by that time he'll be ready to go back too.
Dr. Jennifer Ashton, are you a psychologist
That's right.
too? No, okay. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Thanks so much.
Now to an unusual mother-son relationship between a woman and a baby kangaroo. NBC's Tan Trung has their story.
Kiss my nose.
It's pretty easy to see Christina Cooper and her adopted baby kangaroo Skippy
Love you.
share a special relationship.
Do you want a tummy rub?
It started 5 months ago when Skippy's mother mysteriously abandoned the joey in the kangaroo habitat at the Global Wildlife Center in Louisiana. Weighing only a pound with no fur or mom to keep out the cold, Skippy desperately needed help.
The chance for Skippy's survival was very slim. It was very touch and go in the beginning.
Cooper and her co-workers rescued Skippy, but it's Cooper who spent countless hours feeding and keeping him warm. All those hours also allowed Cooper to see Skippy's first steps. Now look at him.
Fortunately, Skippy's a little fighter, and he's never given up, and I've never given up on him.
Skippy's home is home to 4,000 other animals. The philosophy here is the creatures roam free and the people stay in their place.
And that place is on the tour wagon where families can mingle with the locals, like giraffes.
Did you get a chance to pet him? No.
He's so soft.
Even when he's 6 feet tall and about 200 pounds, he'll be trying to give me hugs.
No matter how big he gets, Cooper says Skippy will always be her little boy. For today, Tan Trung, NBC News, Folsom, Louisiana.
And we were happy to have Skippy, along with his adoptive mom, Christina Cooper, joining us now from the Global Wildlife Center in Folsom, Louisiana. Christina, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you on, and I'm curious, when you found Skippy, what made you think that you'd be able to successfully raise him?
Well, it was very touch and go in the beginning. Fortunately, I found an expert in Australia, Miss Linda Staker, and she helped me every step of the way. And you know what? I took one look in these big brown eyes, and I thought, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure he makes it.
And give us an idea how small he was in the beginning.
You know, Skippy was only about a pound in the beginning. He's very excited this morning. He was only a pound in the beginning, and his head was about as big as my thumb.
And when you started taking care of him, did you realize how much was involved? Because I have read the account of what your life was like in those early months. You never slept, did you?
You know, it was very exciting. It was a very exciting time for us. I had to feed him every 3 hours. Also, what was really unique about Skippy is when we found him, he didn't have any fur at all, which meant that he was unable to thermoregulate. So for the first couple of days until we got our incubator set up, I literally wore him on my stomach to make sure that he stayed nice and warm. So yes, we bonded very, very well from the beginning.
You know, I was just watching the video of Skippy taking his first steps or hops. And I'm, you know, obviously
Yes.
being a parent of children, I know what that's like. What is it like to watch your kangaroo take its first steps?
You know, it was such an exciting time, you know, to see him grow and to see him change, and every little milestone we celebrated every day. And when he first took those first wobbly steps, I just couldn't believe it. My heart was in my chest. And when he jumped into my arms at the end, his little heart was beating so fast. And it was just such an amazing moment. It was a moment that I hoped would come. But, you know, I wasn't sure. I prayed about it every day, and thankfully he's doing great.
Yeah,
he's really thriving.
I know you're approaching that point where you're going to have to release Skippy back into the habitat. Are you prepared for that separation?
Yeah.
And will you still be able to have some sort of relationship?
I have been told that even at 6 feet tall and 200 pounds, he's going to be giving me hugs and kisses. I do have about 6 months. Kangaroos are weaned at 15 months of age, so I do have about 6 months, and hopefully by that time both of us will be ready. But I think he'll always be giving me kisses.
Well, he's a real cutie. We're enjoying it. I didn't realize they got that big, 6 feet. So good luck with those hugs, okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
All right,
And
Chris.
come out and see us at Global Wildlife Center soon.
We hope to. Christina Cooper and Skippy, thanks. We'll be right back. But first, this is Today on NBC.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, thanks for having us. So tell us about the Global Wildlife Center.
Well, it's a very
Christina.
exciting place. It's like Africa in Louisiana. We are located in Folsom. We're only a short drive from Hammond, about 30 minutes. And we have 900 acres and over 4,000 animals from all over the world.
Wow, one of those animals is on your shoulder. Tell us who this is.
That's right. This is Peaches. This is my unofficial sidekick. She's an orange-winged Amazon parrot, and she loves to hang out in the gift shop. And she loves to greet the kids when they come in after a tour. And she says about 90 different things.
So other than Peaches, what can people expect to see if they come out here?
Well, we have mainly hoof stock. We have animals from all over the world. They come from Africa, from Asia. And they're not any predators out here. You don't have to worry about a carnivore jumping up in the safari wagons, which is really good because at Global Wildlife Center, you're actually able to feed and touch the animals. And that's what makes for such an amazing and unforgettable experience.
So I'm sure you get a lot of young kids, students, field trips.
We do. We get lots of great families that come out. We do field trips, we do corporate parties, we do picnics. Just people looking to get away and relax out in the countryside.
I guess they don't really have to worry about getting attacked by any of these animals,
No,
right?
definitely not. All of our animals are very, I don't want to say tame, but they're very people friendly. And they know that the safari wagons means that they're going to be fed. And that is the secret to some amazing animal adventures at the center. And what we're going to do today, which is going to be a lot of fun, is we're going to go out in one of our private pen scours. This is a really new thing that we've just started doing at the center. It's a private tour, and you get to get even closer up to the animals than you would in the safari wagons. And what's nice about the pen scour, it's a 4x4 vehicle, and it can go in places our safari wagons can't. So we're going to have a good time today.
So it gives them a little bit more of a close-up. What's the difference between the two?
It's kind of a behind-the-scenes tour, if you will. You know, what's neat about the center is the animals are free roaming. They can go wherever they want to. And every now and then the giraffes might be hiding in the woods. Well, this 4x4 can go straight through the trees. So it can go wherever the animals are.
So why in the world would you have a safari in southeastern Louisiana?
Well, you know what? I think the best way to answer that is to go see. How about that?
All right, let's go.
Let's take a trip.
The Global Wildlife Tour begins with the kangaroos. They're the only animal in the center not free roaming. These are red kangaroos from Australia.
And And my favorite story about the kangaroos is how they got their name. Actually, whenever the European travelers went over to Australia, they asked the Aborigines what those strange hopping creatures were. And the Aborigine people said kangaroo, which actually means an Aborigine, I don't understand what you're saying. So that's how the kangaroos got their name. Now, a kangaroo uses its tail for balance. If you were to hold on to the kangaroo's tail while it was hopping, it really wouldn't be able to navigate very well.
So it'd just fall over?
Well, yeah. It's a good way to catch a kangaroo.
Can they jump high over that fence?
No, kangaroos can only jump about 4 feet, and the fence is about 5 feet tall.
But you can only enjoy looking at the kangaroos for so long before the beggars arrive. Texas Longhorns, African Watusi cattle, and the bison.
Now, the cattle are really fun. They are our professional feeders. They're going to come right up to the penscour. They open their mouth really wide. They even move their tongue aside for you. All you have to do is pour the food down their throat, and they will take as much as you want to give them.
Can I touch him, or is they not going to
Yeah,
like
you
that?
can. You can reach out and touch his horns. The horns are actually made out of keratin, which is the same material that's in your fingernails and in your hair.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah, you can really tell how much it feels like a fingernail.
And horns are different than antlers, too.
Yeah, and it kind of just breaks. It kind of just peels away. And it's almost a little scary because they're enormous animals.
Now, the one thing you have to watch out for with the cattle is if the food goes into their nose, because when it comes back out, it's going to be 3 times as fast and twice as wet.
You guys have had enough.
There are lots of animals to see out there, so you want to see what else we can find?
Yes, let's go.
Just 3 minutes in and you've already experienced animals from 3 continents, and it's just the beginning of the tour. Still to come on North Shore Gems.
This happens to me all the time.
We meet the stars of the show, the giraffes. Stay with us. Welcome back to North Shore Gems. From kangaroos to camels, zebras, and giraffes, the Global Wildlife Center has it all.
So you guys really have a lot of different animals roaming around together. It's not like they're separated into large pens.
And that's a good point that you brought up, because this is the first time that anyone's ever tried to do that. It's the first time anybody's tried to put this many species together in one free roaming environment. So that's pretty amazing.
And it's worked. You guys haven't really had problems with it.
No, in fact, it's worked very well, and the experts said that it couldn't be done, so it's kind of funny. We're kind of avant-garde that way.
Some expert he was.
Now, the zebras are pretty fun. They're one of the most colorful animals, even though they're only black and white. But the zebras, you're not allowed to feed them or to pet them, and there's a good reason for that. Zebras show their affection and their aggression by biting. So if a zebra likes you, it's going to bite you. If it doesn't like you, it's going to bite you just a little bit harder.
Yeah, that's not very nice. And how old are these?
Those zebras are probably about 3 or 4 years old.
How long can they live?
Oh, let's see, probably about 20 years. And these are the llamas. They're one of our favorites. You can feed them from your hand. They walk right up to the tour, and you just put a little bit of the food in the palm of your hand, and they use their little lips to pick up the food. It kind of tickles. But the bad thing about llamas is they do spit. Hopefully nobody will get spit on today. But that's how they protect themselves. And sometimes they have food fights. So.
They have food fights?
Yeah.
How do you have food fights?
Well, this llama right here is especially known for it. That's Maddie. And if Maddie's not getting enough food and she thinks that somebody else is getting too much, she'll start spitting her food at them. And some people are even using llamas as caddies in golf courses because their hoofs are so small and they don't do damage to the green. That is Sally the camel.
How many camels do you have?
We have 2 camels. We have a Bactrian camel, which is a 2-hump camel, and then Sally is a dromedary camel. The dromedary camels come from northern Africa and the Middle East. And there are all sorts of different races of camels. They're used for racing. They were used in the Civil War to carry mail and salt to the troops. Camels can do all sorts of neat little things. They have calluses on their knees and on the bottom of their stomach, and that's to protect them from the extreme temperatures, the hot sand in the desert. Their eyelashes are super thick, and so are their ears. They have really furry ears, and their nostrils can close up airtight, and that's so that whenever the sand is blowing in a sandstorm, it doesn't get in their delicate areas.
Well, how do they fare in southeast Louisiana compared
They
to
do
Africa?
really well. They do really well here. What's funny about our camels is if you come, now they have a nice, kind of luxurious coat, but if you come in the summertime, they are completely bald. They lose all of that fur. Yeah, they lose all of that fur and they look really silly. And what's in a camel's hump is fat. It's not water like a lot of people think. The reason that people think that camels store water in their hump is they can drink about 40 gallons of water in a single sitting. And everybody figured, well, the water's got to be going somewhere. It must be going into the hump. But actually their stomach is pleated and it kind of expands to hold all that water.
So we're surrounded right now by deer, camels, ostriches, zebras. On a normal safari, if somebody was going to, say, one in Africa or somewhere else, would you see all of these types of animals together, or is this fairly new just for this one specific location?
This is pretty amazing. All of these animals come from different regions. The zebras right here come from Africa. The rheas, which look like ostriches, they come from South America. The fallow deer are very widely introduced. They're found all over the place. So you've got animals from all over. Isn't that amazing? That's Aladdin. He is super friendly. Aladdin loves people.
This is a different type of camel?
Yeah, this is the Bactrian camel. They come from northern China and Mongolia, from a much colder climate. That's why they have so much more fur. Whenever the camels walk, their feet kind of spread apart. It's almost like snowshoes, and that's to help them walk in the sand. You know, when you go to the beach, how it's really hard to run in the sand. Well, the camels, they won't sink and they can run pretty fast.
In the winter, the center puts out hundreds of bales of hay for the animals for warmth. What we're feeding each animal is corn. The center feeds out 1,000 pounds of food every day.
Would you like to see why the giraffes are the star of the show?
Let's go. It's the only reason I came.
But before we get to the giraffes, we run into the rhea and the Cape eland. The rhea is the South American cousin of the ostrich, and you probably can't tell, but it's thought to be one of the closest living relatives of the dinosaur.
And the movie Jurassic Park was filmed, the velociraptor was modeled after the rhea. So if you see the rheas running across the field, it looks like the dinosaurs in the movie. It's pretty cool.
It looks so different, though.
Watch them move. I think you can really see it in their movements.
The Cape eland is an African antelope. Unfortunately, it doesn't have as cool of a lineage as the rhea, but they have a connection with a living mammal.
They are the Michael Jordan of the antelope family. They can jump 6 feet straight up in the air.
That's about how high I jump, too.
And these are
Michael Jordan of the Southeastern Channel.
And these are professional cup stealers, so we'll see how strong you are at this stop.
All right, I'm ready. Who's got it? Bring it. I'm scared of you. You got nothing. Yeah, you're not kidding. He just put a hole in the cup almost.
All right, let's see the giraffes across the lake, so we'll go see them next.
The field you cross to get to the giraffes is a large grazing spot for all the animals. But since Hurricane Katrina, this area holds a little bit more meaning.
And this is the field where all the animals came during Hurricane Katrina. It's the highest point in the property, and there are no trees here. We lost about 1,000 trees during the storm, and the animals knew what to do. I mean, we can't really put them up anywhere, and if we were to put them up, then you run the risk of, say, the barn blowing down. So we left all of them free roaming. But all the animals came into the lake field and they huddled together side by side, shoulder to shoulder, even animals that don't normally herd together. It was pretty amazing. And that's how they rode out the storm. And we didn't lose a single animal in Hurricane Katrina.
When you finally reach the giraffes, it's easy to realize why they're the stars at the Global Wildlife Center. They're beautiful, majestic, and loving creatures. And they're enormous.
Now this is Zira. Yes, Zira loves corn. She'll stick her head right in here. The giraffes have an 18-inch long tongue. Giraffes only have 7 bones in their neck. Only 7, just the same. You're right. They're much longer than ours are. Every mammal, from the smallest mouse to the biggest elephant, is going to have 7 vertebrae in its neck. The giraffes are really gentle. They can run about 35 miles an hour. They have the largest heart of any land mammal. Their heart's about 3 feet long and weighs about 26 pounds. And that's to pump the blood all the way up that long neck and down those long legs.
Even though it is a gentle giant, the giraffe isn't something you or any creature wants to mess with.
Their kick is very powerful. They can kick with both their front legs and their back legs. They can actually kill a lion with one kick. Wow. So there are not a lot of natural predators for the giraffes in the wild.
And these are all African?
Yeah, they're reticulated giraffes. All giraffes come from Africa, and these are reticulated.
What does that mean?
It means it comes from the Latin root reticuli, which means net-like. If you look at these giraffes, it looks like somebody threw a cargo net on them and spray painted them. They have really distinct markings. And you can tell how old a giraffe is by how much white is between those spots. Not many places where you can get eye to eye with a giraffe like that.
No, not many. And yeah, I would never have expected to be able to do it in this part of the country.
The unexpected surprise for a cow pasture in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the tours do have to end, but the animals are always here waiting for your visit.
Christina, thank you so much for that tour. You have spectacular animals out here.
Well, thanks for coming to safari with us at Global Wildlife. Come back soon.
We will. Thank you. Well, we've gone from the swamps of Louisiana to Australia, Europe, Africa, even Asia. We've done it all without leaving the North Shore. It's just a taste of some of the gems that our area has to offer. On behalf of everybody here at the Southeastern Channel, I'm Corey Broman, folks. Thanks for watching North Shore Gems.
For more information about Clee Bears or the Global Wildlife Center, just head to their websites, globalwildlife.com and cleebeartours.com.